Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. I'm Matt again, A to Z Auto Masters. Today we got this 2015 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. It came in with a knock-in problem. It has a 3.6 liter V6. I seen this problem numerous times before, and I did it probably at least 5 or 6 times before on the 3.6 liter. On a Grand Cherokees, the Chrysler's 200s, the Rubicons, those engines fit multiple cars, and they have the same problems with all these cars. So today we're going to look at this knock-in issue. This is going to be a major repair. You're going to need to really watch this video carefully. Probably you need to watch it a couple times before you start the repair. Any little mistakes you do in this repair, you can cause an intensive internal engine damage. So please make sure you watch this video very carefully and take your time maybe to watch it a couple more times before you start the repair. And please, if you learned anything from my video, if my video was helpful, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button and leave us some comments. Let us know how did the job go, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay guys, so today we're doing the rocker arms and the push rod on this truck. There's really two ways to do that. I'll show you. I'm gonna do this in two videos. One will be a shortcut. That's my way of doing it. You can cut at least maybe 7-8 hours of the job. And I'm gonna make another video of exactly how the manufacturer wants you to do it. So I'm gonna be posting both videos, and you decide which way you wanna do it. Okay guys, so we got the hood open, the car been running. Usually the sound intensifies after the car gets hot. So the car been running for about just 5 minutes now, and you can definitely hear that knocking sound. And it's obviously coming from this bank here. We go to the driver's side, it's not as loud. It seems like it's mainly coming from the passenger side. So I really don't recommend doing just one bank. So we basically will take both covers off, and we'll do both banks at the same time. So please, before we start the job, make sure you watch this video carefully, and make sure you watch it at least a couple times, go over the details, and you have to do it exactly the way I'm gonna do it. Because if you don't do it exactly the way I do it, and you cause internal engine damage or you blow up the engine, I'm not responsible for this. So please make sure you really follow this video very carefully. Okay guys, so we're just gonna start by taking everything on top of the engine here apart. It might look different in a Grand Cherokee. The intake system will look different. I have other videos about how to remove the intake manifold on a Grand Cherokee and how to do valve cover gaskets on a Chrysler 200. So they're all the same exact engine, 3.6 liter, just a little bit of differences here and there. I'm gonna make sure to leave all the links for the other videos in the description, so you can go back to these videos and see what you can use. Okay guys, so basically we got valve covers off, removed all this. Now time to get the timing cover off. We're just gonna start with the tensioner. We got 4 bolts holding this alternator. Top one size 15, the bottom one size 13. Okay guys, so we got the alternator out, and now we're gonna take this bracket out and pull the belt. Now we take this tensioner out. It's a 13 here and a 13 down there. We got all 13s and 15s. There's only one here, 16 for that bracket. Now we can get this built off. And we took the 2 bolts out for the thermostat here, and we can pull the thermostat out. Amazing. Thermostat is shot. Okay guys, so we're gonna take this coolant outlet out, but we have to take this idler pulley out of the way because there's a bolt behind. So, and same thing with that one. Now we can take all these bolts out. And now we can get this water pump out of the way. And we take this lower radiator hose out of the pump. Okay, we should have everything disconnected, and that's it. Just pry on it. Okay guys, so we basically cleared everything on the front here. We're gonna have to clear this pump, power steering pump, because we have a bolt behind it, and we're gonna have to get the harmonic balancer out of the way. Okay, so we got the pump here held up by this bracket, 2 bolts up top and 1 on the bottom. Here we go. Now the pump is out of the way. Okay, so we're gonna need to get this fan out of the way so we can have access to remove this harmonic balancer. And just lift up. All these push clips are just gonna pop out. And we got 2 bolts, 1 here and 1 there, 8mm, and get the fan out. Now we have room to fit the gun and pull this harmonic balancer off. Okay, that's a size 27. And this harmonic balancer should just pull out. Okay guys, so we basically have everything removed from here. Whatever bolts we have left in here, you got 3 here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We might have to take this big one out too, 7. And you have 4 bolts coming from the oil pan from the bottom going up. All these has to come out, and then we're gonna pull this timing cover off. These should be all size 10, and the bottom one will be size 13. Okay guys, so basically with a pry bar like that from behind the cover, between the head and the cover, you can start prying. Right there. So you have silicone here that was holding, and you have silicone all across, and the bottom, of course. Okay guys, so we got the timing cover off, and that's how the chain should look. I'm just gonna have a little bit of markings here just for myself, so we won't get anything confused. These are marked exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust. And I'm just gonna write here 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it starts from left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead, so if I take them out and they get messed up, I don't get them confused. And again here also 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I'm gonna pull these tensioners out. We're gonna compress this later, and I'll show you how. And same thing in the bottom tensioner. And again, we're gonna compress this one. I'm gonna show you how. Now we got these guides, and tensioner guides are in the way. Just gonna take all of them out for now. You can hear the timing jumped. Not a big deal. We're gonna redo the whole timing. 3 bolts in this, and this one can just slide out. The other side. So that's the chain on that side. We're gonna take it out, and we need to mark it the right direction, which side is facing in out and which side is facing in, because this chain has to go back in the same way. Okay guys, so I got the chain out, as you can see, and you can see here these 2 links are the different colors. Actually, one of them will fit right on that groove, the other one will fit on that groove. And then you have the bottom link, different color link right here, that should line up with the bottom sprocket here. So we mark this chain 1, it's gonna be here. You can use an open end wrench to grab these cams, because we're gonna take these oil control valves out. These are torqued down to about 150 Newton meter. They're really tight. I'm gonna put the vice grip here, just like that, and have it on top of the shock. Same thing here. And we're gonna lean this on this cam so that won't spin. Okay, they're both loose. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Okay guys, here we're just gonna try to hold it because you have the fuel rail here in the way. We don't want to break that, so I'm just gonna try to hold it and crack it at the same time. Got it. Okay guys, so right now we have everything taken apart. Valve covers, timing cover, the chains are out, the sprockets are out. The main purpose of this video was to show you how to change these rocker arms and the push rods when you have an engine knock on those 3.6 liter engines. I have another video of how to do it with a shortcut without removing the timing cover and without removing the chains. But now I'm doing this video to show you, if you don't want to go that route and do it with the shortcut, if you want to do it that way, which is basically that's what the manufacturer wants you to do. So I'm also showing you this way how to do it. So once we have all this taken apart, we can take these cam caps off, remove the cam, change all of them, and we're going to torque these back to 10 Newton meter, which is about 89 inch-pound. Okay, so basically we're going to do this with all cams. We're going to torque them down, and now we're going to go back to installation. And since we're only doing the rocker arms here, we don't have to remove the secondary chain and the oil pump chain down here. So basically we're going to leave this alone. I'm going to explain to you how to set the timing here, but I'm not taking it out. To take this out, you're going to have to remove the oil pan out, and I'm not doing that right now. I'm only working on the top chains, but I'm going to show you how to set the timing down here before you put these chains up. Okay guys, so first thing first, I'll show you how to set the timing on those on this secondary chain. I'm not really gonna do the job. I have to remove the oil pan, and I don't need to do that right now. So as you can see, we have this dimple here that should be at 12 o'clock when the timing is set. The key for the crankshaft key right there should be about 11 o'clock, and then you have this other dimple in the back should be lined up with this line here. So the way you set this timing, I printed out so you guys can see that. So right there in the back of this bottom sprocket, okay, in the back of it, you're gonna have this mark. You're gonna line up the chain with that, and the top one, you're gonna line up the link on the chain with the dimple I was just showing you, which is this. And that's how it should look like. And basically you're just gonna slide it back the way it is. Make sure the chain doesn't move, and you're gonna slide it back here and on the crankshaft. And after you slide them in, you're gonna put the tensioner, you're gonna put the guide, and then you can put the oil pump chain. And after you put the chain and slide the bottom sprocket, you can torque this down. That's basically it with the bottom chain and the oil pump chain. And that's the final look. The dimple right there lined up with the line, 12 o'clock mark with the link, and behind this sprocket you're gonna line it up like that. This bolt right here, the T45, this will be torqued down to 25 Newton meter, which is about 18 foot-pound. And these three bolts right here for the tensioner and the guide, these have to be torqued down to about 12 Newton meter, which is about 106 inch-pound. And the same thing with the oil pump sprocket. It's the same bolt as this T45, and it also has to be torqued down to 25 Newton meter or 18 foot-pound. So basically all this is torqued down, all this installed. Now we can work our way up. Okay, so now it's time to put the rest of the chains. We have the timing set on the bottom here. We're gonna start from the right and we're gonna work our way this way. So, okay, so put this guide in and put these bolts back, T30. And these should be torqued to about 12 Newton meter or 106 inch-pounds. That, by the way, applies to all the T30 bolts inside the engine here. The guides, the tensioners, tensioner arms, everything inside here with the T30 will be 12 Newton meter or 106 inch-pound. And now we put this tensioner arm, and we have to inspect all these guides and tensioner arms and tensioners, the chains. Make sure everything is good before you install them back. If anything is worn down or broken, just change it. It's gonna go just like that. Okay guys, so it's time to put the chain back now. And as I mentioned before, the chain should have two different color links here close to each other, okay, and should have one down here. This one by itself is going to line up with the bottom sprocket, and these two top ones, they will go with the camshaft sprockets. The bottom one should line up right here. We should have this arrow. The link should line up with the arrow. We can use a mirror like that to check right there. The color link is right on the arrow. So we previously marked these. You will have two marked exhaust and two marked intake, but I marked them 1, 2, 3, 4. I just need the same exact one to go back in place. I don't want the right to go left or left to go right, even though they're the same part number. So we have this dimple here. This hole should line up with the pin, and we have that mark with the arrow right there, should line up with the color link. If they're not lined up, you can move the cam back and forth. Just make sure it lines up. Do not overturn the cam. If you turn the cam too much, you can bend the valves. So make sure all these marking holes have to be all facing up right here on all 4 cams. That indicates that the cam on the right position. If these holes not there, if they're facing down, you're on the opposite side. If you're turning the cams or you're turning the crankshaft and you have any resistance, you have it stuck, probably the piston is hitting one of the valves. Do not move the cams or the crankshaft. You can bend the valves. So right now they're in the right position. And now we got intake which we marked number 3 originally. And again, this link will line up with the mark and the dot. Okay, these are hand tight. Look from the back, make sure they're all the way in, and make sure they're locked in place. And you also should have these 2 dimples kind of lined up, and here lined up. Okay, right there, they're locked. This is locked. And now once we got the sprockets here lined up, we look back again on the bottom arrow and make sure it's still lined up, did not move. Okay. Now is the time to put the other side. And same thing, we're gonna have the 2 links close to each other with 5 links in between. And you're gonna have this one by itself. The link by itself down there have to be lined up with this dimple. It has to be lined up with this dimple right here. And the 2 top ones have to line up with the sprockets. Before we put the chain back, we're just gonna throw these guides back on. Same thing, these will be 12 Newton meter or 106 inch-pound. Okay, and now we put this tensioner arm back. Now we have the chain. Again, we're gonna line up this link with the bottom dimple here. Make sure it fits in and locks. Now it's time to throw the other one, last one. Okay, this one we're gonna have to just line up the cam with the sprocket. Just like that. It will clip in. The pin has to line up with the hole. So we got this lined up, that one lined up, and we're gonna take another look on the bottom one. So we have all the guides and all the tensioner arms are all installed. You take one final look at all markings here, down there, everything. I'm gonna put the tensioners and then release them. Okay guys, so we got the tensioner right here. Okay, and you can put it on a vise, or you can just compress it and put the pin just like that. That's how you lock it. That one goes down here. And again, you torque them down to 12 Newton meter or 106 inch-pound. Okay guys, so that's the other tensioner, the left side. This one is a little bit different. There's a locking mechanism inside here. If you push back, it won't push back. You really have to lift up on this gear. This, you really have to lift up, and at the same time you push in. Lift up and push all the way in. Again, you can put it on a vise, or if you can do it by hand like that, you could. And then same thing here. Just try to line up the second bolt, just like that. And same thing, 12 Newton meter or 106 inch-pound. Now, one final look before we release those tensioners. You should have these two arrows right there facing each other. Should have these two dash right there, two lines facing each other. This mark lined up, this one lined up, this and that. Down here, the dimples facing this. Basically, everything is good. And now we torque the oil valve control, and these are torqued to 150 Newton meter or 110 foot-pound. It's a lot of torque, guys. Gonna have to hold the cams right there, and again make sure those alignment holes are facing up and those alignment holes are facing up. We got all the markings. We went over the marking a couple times, make sure everything is good. Now we can pull these pins and we're good. Okay guys, so now it's time to put this harmonic balancer with the bolt back, and we're gonna have to spin this engine 2 revolutions, okay, clockwise. We're going with 2 full revolutions. Okay, 2 full revolutions. Make sure these lines are lined up. These arrows are lined up. And this dot, this dimper right there is lined up. Good. Now we can close everything back. Okay guys, so we're ready to put the timing cover back. We're just gonna silicone both sides here. Gonna put some silicone where the tensioner goes, and you're gonna have to put a couple drops in here so the oil won't seep through the 2 holes, and a drop in here and a drop in there. This gasket should be changed. This O-ring should be changed if you're doing the job, and this seal here should be changed. Also, I recommend to do the front main seal, and basically that's it. We're gonna slap it back on. Okay guys, so we're ready to put this timing cover. We're just gonna put, again, silicone down here. We're gonna put a drop here, drop in here on the separations in the middle. Same thing here and here. And now we can line up this cover and put it back. Just watch for the front seal. Basically, gonna just keep lifting up till you go in. Right there. And you have the two dowel pins, line them up and push in. And now we can tighten those bolts back. Again, all these timing cover bolts are 12 Newton meter or 106 inch-pound. Can put this cap back. Now we can put this water outlet. Right there. And now we torque all these down, and the water pump are all torqued down to 12 Newton meter or 106 inch-pound. Now we can put this bracket back on. Slip the belt back on, and on the tensioner okay, now we can put the valve covers back and start assembling the whole front and run the wiring harness back. Okay guys, so the whole manifold is back. We put the coolant pipe back. Of course, we did a new oil change. We have new oil in there, and we're about to refill the coolant. Just leave the vent open. We fill the coolant and start coming out of here, and then you can close them. Okay, moment of truth, guys. We're gonna start this car now, and it might sound funny in the beginning, and that's normal. Beautiful. Nice and quiet, no ticking. Beautiful, no ticking. We're gonna let it run, make sure it gets hot, and listen to the knock again. But I'm very sure that's the end of that. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you subscribe.